Finally, the Rozark family is recruiting new guards. In the bustling Dandelion City were a few large men dressed in tight-fitting shirts. They stuck a large red scroll of notice on the wall of a building. Soon, a large group of people gathered around to read the notice, and then they started whispering to each other. The Rozark family wants to recruit 20 guards, but they have to be at least 16 years old and in good physical shape, someone said. The guards will be paid 10 gold coins per month, and the captain of the guards will be paid 50 gold coins. That's a lot higher than other families pay. This is a good opportunity. Whoever is accepted to be a guard for the Rozark family might have the chance to learn the family's martial arts skills. The Rozark family rarely recruits new guards. One of the men who had hung the notice sat upon a fine horse, and he stood out as a leader. He looked at the gathering crowd and said, "Recruitment will start tomorrow morning. If you can last through 3 moves in a fight against junior members of the Rozark family, you will be accepted as a guard. And if you can defeat one of the members of the main branch of the Rozark family, you will be recruited as a captain. There are only 20 slots available, so it's first come, first served." The man's eyes revealed his arrogance. In Dandelion City, the Rozark family had an extraordinary reputation. Every member of the family, including this man, possessed a great amount of pride. After the man finished speaking, the others with him climbed onto their horses and fell in behind their leader. Their movements were neat and orderly as they left. One member of the crowd said, "The one riding the Fergana in front is the vice commander of the Rozark family, Zin Rozark. Rumor says that he has already reached the level of Supreme Stage." "It would be great if I could also reach the Supreme Stage," someone else said. "Then I could do anything I wanted within Dandelion City. No one would dare go against me." "Then you better pray that you pass the test to be a guard for the Rozark family tomorrow," the first person said. "Although the members of the Rozark family will be fighting are young, they're all extremely strong. And I'm afraid not many people will be able to endure 3 moves from them." "The Supreme Stage," a third person scoffed. "Keep dreaming. Few people can ever reach that level." But the second person was unperturbed and laughed gleefully. "Tomorrow I'll become a guard of the Rozark family." In the crowd, there was a burly man with dark skin who smiled mysteriously at some of the others. He lowered his voice and said, "I'll tell you guys a secret. If you become the captain of the guards, you'll receive training in some of the Rozark family's martial arts skills. And after that, you might even have a chance to become an actual member of the Rozark family." The group of men he was talking to were shocked, and jealousy filled their eyes. One said, "Robel, are you lying to us? Will the captain of the guards really be trained in the martial arts skills of the Rozark family?" Robel patted his chest and said, "Why would I lie to you? I'm a distant relative of the Rozark family, so I know how they do things." "You're actually related to the Rozark family?" The surrounding people looked enviously at Robel when they heard that. As the news of the Rozark family's guard recruitment spread throughout the city, it attracted the attention of countless people. The Rozark family was relatively new to Dandelion City, but they had steadily gained power over the years until they became one of the 5 great lords of the city, and they had the potential to continue to grow stronger. Their rise was something everyone in the city was aware of. At dusk, thick layers of cloud shrouded the sky above Dandelion City. The sun near the horizon was like a ball of fire that was about to be extinguished, shining streaks of red light through the gaps in the clouds before descending behind the mountains. Dandelion City was close to the White Mountains, and because it was located at the border of the empire, demon beasts frequently appeared. A wide variety of people with different viewpoints and religions lived in Dandelion City, but they all practiced martial arts and were quite good at it. The 5 great lords were especially skilled and were considered to be martial families. A few fine horses trotted along a path, kicking up a cloud of dust. They carried imposing riders. The leader was Zin Rozark, the vice commander of the Black Squadron. A big fellow behind Zin raised his head and looked at the sky before smiling at the people riding beside him. He said, "It's the 13th day. Let's bet on whether or not the foolish warrior is still there. We'll make the wager 5 gold coins." "That fool seems to be getting more and more foolish lately," someone replied. "I'll bet he's still there." No, it's been 13 days, someone else said. The record was 10 days, so I bet he's gone by now. 5 gold coins were a half month's wages for an ordinary guard. But these men were very confident in their bets, and it wasn't the first time they had made such a wager. They each took out 5 gold coins and handed them over to the first man who had spoken. On his furgana, Zin glared at the other men with a rather strict expression. "Be careful," he warned. "Although this foolish warrior isn't favored within the family, and his actions are quite strange, he's still a member of the Rozark family, and therefore your master. If one day you're punished for speaking ill of him, I won't be able to protect you." The man who had started the bet stopped mid-laugh, frightened by Zin's sharp gaze. He chuckled nervously and said, "Vice Commander, the entire Rozark family and even the general public in Dandelion City is calling that man a fool behind his back. Everyone knows he's useless, so what we say about him shouldn't be a problem." "Even if that's the case, it doesn't change the fact that he's your master," Zin said, still glaring fiercely. "No matter how foolish and useless he is, he still has the blood of the Rozark family in his veins. All of you need to be clear about your own position. Otherwise, you're bound to suffer great losses in the future." "Understood, Vice Commander." The men nodded their heads in agreement, trying to hide their embarrassment. When Zin saw their change in attitude, his expression eased up a little. He looked at the man who had started the bet and said, "5 gold coins, right? I bet that he's still there." The tense atmosphere immediately dissipated when the men heard that. They laughed, and one said, "The Vice Commander is betting too." The men all urged their horses to gallop faster, because they were eager to know if the foolish warrior from the Rozark family was still there. The house of the Rozark family was a grand and imposing building. In the distance behind the estate was a barren mountain. Cahill Mountain was a strange place. All year round, not a single blade of grass grew, not a single bird flew overhead, and not a single animal or insect came close. It was like a land of death. There was only sand and rocks there, nothing alive. The members of the Rozark family thought the mountain was unlucky and tended to avoid it. Originally, the main gate of the house had faced Cahill Mountain, but because the mountain was so ominous, the gate had been moved to the other side of the estate 10 years ago. Since that time, the Rozark family, originally a minor clan, had started to rise greatly in status, which only reinforced the idea that the mountain was an ominous place. No one dared approach it. On top of the mountain stood half of a stone tablet known as the magical megalith. The other half was thought to be buried within the mountain. The half on display was around 3 feet tall. No one, not even the Rozark family, knew how old the magical megalith was. Rumors said that it had been there since the time of the Rozark family's ancestors. Perhaps because of its age, the surface of the stone had many small, intricate cracks, giving it a mottled appearance. No one from the Rozark family was currently interested in the magical megalith. It was said that in the past, the Rozark family had employed experts to inspect the tablet, but there appeared to be nothing special about it. The only thing notable about the magical megalith was an incident that had occurred during a storm 10 years ago. The well-known prince of the Rozark family, Cahir, had stood in a daze in front of the tablet when a bolt of lightning struck. The tablet was unharmed, but Cahir had been struck by the lightning and fallen unconscious for 3 days. Zin and the other men approached the gate of the Rozark estate just as the sun was setting. Even from a distance, they could see a skinny young man standing on the mountain in front of the magical megalith. "Damn, that foolish warrior is still there," one of them said. "It's been 13 days. "It's going to be quite tough for me with only half a month's wages," said one of the men who had bet Cahir would be gone. "You guys might have to lend me some money." Those who had won the bet were happy, but the losers were not. They couldn't believe that the foolish warrior had broken the record again. Each time Cahir went up to the mountain, his time there grew longer and longer. "Let's go," said Zin. "It'll be dark soon. Tomorrow there will be many young men and women at the guard test. We have to be prepared. There can't be any mistakes." The test the next day would also serve as practice for the junior members of the Rozark family, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The men on the horses needed to focus on that rather than on Kahir, who had nothing to do with the following day's test.
Has that fool really been standing there for 13 days? He just keeps getting crazier and crazier. I heard that lots of doctors have come to try and cure him, but none of them succeeded. There's really no helping him.
As servants and maids of the Rozark family passed by, their gazes were filled with regret and lament as they glanced up at Kahir on the mountain. He was a noble, and they thought it was a shame that he had become such a fool. The sky was getting darker. As the last afterglow of the sun vanished, night finally fell. Kahir, dressed in a purple robe, was sitting cross-legged in front of the magical megalith, his eyes closed. He was only 16 years old, but he was more resolute than many of his peers. He was rather handsome, and it would have been difficult for anyone not from Dandelion City to imagine why he was called the Foolish Warrior. Stars flickered in the night sky, and the crescent moon was like a curved blade, shining with a bright white light. Aside from Kahir, the entire Rozark family was deep in slumber. No one was paying attention to the youth on Kahil Mountain. The ancient stone tablet looked even stranger than normal in the moonlight. Suddenly, the cracks on the tablet began to glow faintly, and they spread and spread across the tablet. The entire mountain swayed gently. No one witnessed this incredible scene, but if they had, they would have been shocked. The cracks on the tablet that had stood unchanging for countless years grew bigger and bigger, while the light emitting from them got brighter and brighter. The light enveloped Kahir's body, and then the monument started to break up along the cracks. The magical megalith broke into a pile of crushed stone. After the light disappeared, Kahir opened his eyes. 2 rays of light shot out of his eyes like lightning in the night, and an ancient power swept out from his body, causing the surrounding space to tremble. A smile appeared on Kahir Rozark's face as he let out a long sigh and said, "It took me 10 years, but I finally mastered the first form."